it's time for the standard comedic intro. We should probably do one. Cue the intro. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It is week 12 of the Axial Honcho Budget Build-Off. We are going strong into week 12. We are doing those things that I told you we were going to do. Overwhelmingly, the things that you guys asked for from last week to see this week was the grill from Night Customs, which is on order, has not arrived yet, but it will be part of the budget some point going forward. Definitely guaranteed will be happening. The other thing was paint those brass disc brakes. They look ridiculous when they're brass. So yes, I have painted those. Actually, I didn't paint them at all. I used a pen. It's called the Molotow Chrome Silver Pen, and you can get it at any finer static model hobby shop. It tends to be something they carry. It goes on and looks exactly like chrome or exactly like silver. And I think just adds a whole other dimension to these disc brake weights, and I'm really pleased with the outcome on that. I'll put a link in the description below to at least get you in touch with the manufacturer of those pens so you can check them out for yourself. Here is a disclaimer for this week. Batteries and radios are never factored into the cost of the budget. So, with that in mind, I am giving you two ways to get that servo winch up and running. The first can be done with the stock radio. The second has to be done with a 3-channel radio. Here's where I have to apologize to everyone. I had intended for part 1 of this servo winch control demo to be done with the RC 4-wheel drive wireless winch controller, which I thought I had in my possession in my spare parts electronics box. I don't have it.
And you blew it!
And for that, I am sorry. But I can still walk you through what it's going to take to get that servo winch up and running with that wireless controller. I just don't have it. I'll put a link in the description below where you can pick one up. It is a much simpler process because you don't have to have a different radio. You don't have to have 3 channels. It's just a wireless winch controller. You plug in the servo winch into this controller. Bob's your uncle. The method I prefer for using a winch or a servo winch of any kind is to use a HeyOK 4-amp relay winch controller. Now, I don't know what's in here. I don't know how this thing works or what wizardry HeyOK has come up with. All you do is plug this DINS into your ESC and then your battery into it. These 2 wires connect to your servo winch, and this goes into your 3rd channel on your transmitter or radio. That's it. You set your radio to a 3-position switch, position 1 being 100% direction in one direction, 0 being neutral, and 100% in the other direction. We'll do a little solder job here. I'll show you step by step how to get this installed, and then we're going to test it out. I've been using HeyOK electronics in all of my trucks for a very long time. These winch controllers are super reliable. There's no drift. It's really just that spectacular. He also is very well known for his light controllers. He's got a brake light controller that's pretty cool that you plug into the throttle, so if you let off the acceleration and the brake lights come on, it's very cool. And Al's products are just great. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below. I got this controller from RPP Hobby for $41.99. And that's all you will need to control your servo winch with a 3-position switch on a 3-channel radio. If you don't have a radio with 3 channels or a 3-position switch, you can use the RC 4-wheel drive wireless winch controller. It's also available at RPP Hobby for $45.99 and will function essentially the same way with your stock radio gear. I think it's important that I show you 2 different ways for 2 different styles of budget, so let's get to the install. So whether you use the RC 4-wheel drive wireless winch controller or the HeyOK winch controller, there's one thing you're going to need to do to that servo winch that we created a few weeks back in order to make it work properly with both. You're probably asking yourself, why not just plug it into the 3rd channel and be done? There is an opportunity there for some possible drift, and drift is where it goes a little bit right or a little bit left of center, and over time it can actually pull the winch line in, or it could release winch line and kind of create a big mess underneath your truck. what the HeyOK or the wireless winch controller will do will prevent any of that drift. And yes, you're like, well, wait a second, you went through all those steps to like lock down the potentiometer and to make sure it wasn't going to drift. Well, this is taking it that one step further. Remove all of the electronics from the servo entirely and just make it function as essentially a tiny motor. Once you've cracked the servo open, remove the internal board by clipping the wires, remembering that you will need the positive and negative wires that you've just clipped. Reattach those two wires, the red and the black, positive to the positive terminal on the motor inside the servo, and negative to the negative terminal inside the motor as well. Once you've done that, seal everything back up, organize your wires, reinstall the servo winch on your truck, fire up everything and make sure that it works. I use my Spectrum DX5C. I set up the auxiliary E channel for a 3-position switch. 0 being neutral, 100% to the left being spool out, 100% to the right, spooling in. And let's test it. Yes, it works as expected, without any drift, exactly how we want it. And for fun, let's see how much pulling power there is. Plenty. I also took the time this week to mount that servo winch properly. One thing I had to do to make sure I didn't have it rubbing up against any of the links was move the third link over to the other side. I haven't noticed if there's been any ill effects since doing that. It doesn't seem to bind anywhere and gives the winch adequate room to operate without getting in the way of anything. Because the last thing we want is that winch line getting wrapped around one of the links and causing a whole bunch of problems and breaking things. That's not what we need. I added some 300-pound test line winch cable from scalarfab.com. They also included a winch hook. 5 feet of winch line cost $3. And the winch hook costs $7.50, so we're adding that on to the total. Well, say there, do you like t-shirts? Well, yes, I do like t-shirts. How about hoodies? I also like hoodies. How about flags and iPhone cases? No, I do not care for flags or iPhone cases. Yes, that is correct. We are offering t-shirts, hoodies, iPhone cases, and flags. All available on our Teespring page. I invite you to go check it out. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get your own t-shirts. They're not going to be the standard original logo like these. They are our alternate logo, which is red and black gray instead of blue. But we thought we'd put them out there, see if there's a good response, and if there is, we'll keep the store open and, order to your heart's content. As other products come along, sure, we'll add those too. If you like supporting us, if you like putting flags on your full-size trucks, whether they be lifted or not, it does not matter. I definitely suggest you check them out. I'm a big fan of Teespring, mostly because it takes all the responsibility off of me to ship those out to you. It's an awful lot of work, and anything I can do to streamline this process for you and for me is always much appreciated, I think. Anyway, go check them out, teespring.com/Scale Bilbers Guild. And hey, I just said Scale Bilbers Guild. If you know the reference to what I am speaking about, post, and the first person with the right response will get a free, that's right, free t-shirt. We'll work out all the details on how to do that afterwards, but if you know where or what or why or how I said Scale Bilbers Guild, posted it down below and we'll get you a free t-shirt. Let's do a tally for the week. For week 12, we spent $41.99 on the HeyOK winch controller, $10.50 at scalarfab.com for the servo winch line and hook, for a total of $52.49, $2.49 over the weekly budget. But with what we had remaining from last week, we still have $58.43 remaining going into week 13. I cannot tell you how fun this project is. I'm really having a great time, and I hope that every week you're learning something and you're getting something out of it. I think next week will be a huge cosmetic week. I've got some things coming in the mail. I know that they're on their way. I can't thank Josh enough for getting me involved in this. It's been super fun. Don't forget, t-shirts are available, hoodies are available, flags, iPhone cases, whatever your heart desires, as long as it's one of those 4 things, are available at teespring.com, and I'll put the link in the description below so you can pick those up for yourself. And I think with that, that's going to cover week 12. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you again in week 13.